So we're gonna watch Asmongold's reaction to Final Fantasy XIV being so popular that they stopped sales.
So we will temporarily suspend new registrations for the free trial. So that's insane. Today, I just wanted to make a little quick video, talk about something that just came out, I believe, last night, about a few hours ago. And it's the morning now, and so I'm still awake, obviously. And I wanted to talk about it.
Of course you are,
Today,
you degenerate.
Final Fantasy Yoshida has put out a press release or some form of announcement talking about the direction that Endwalker is going in and just in general what the state of the game is. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, doesn't play Final Fantasy, Endwalker has had massive queues ever since the expansion came out. It's caused a lot of frustration with
Come on, 2,500's not that big of a queue, all right? 2,500's pretty friggin' tame. That's like 90 minutes.
Players. The reason for the queues, there's obviously a lot of different reasons. One of the big reasons is a lack of the chips, and it makes it harder for them
semiconductors
to be able to adapt to that because of COVID. And it seems like it's hampered their ability to do that quite a lot. So that's pretty much what's happened to them, and that's the situation. And this has continued to be a situation and a problem because of how many people the game still has playing it. Because I think really this is what happens, is that usually whenever an expansion comes out, it will be really, really popular, and then it will just slowly go down. But
it's not necessarily it slowly goes down. It's more like eventually players start trending back to their original schedules, which means that not everybody is going to be playing during prime time. Because right now, players are playing extended sessions of the game because the game's just really, really fresh and everybody's trying to get in on the same time. Everybody's still playing on the first couple of weeks. It's eventually going to slow down. And players, some players are going to stop playing because there's a lot of people that actually play Final Fantasy XIV exclusively for the story. So, they will do their story content and then they're done. Then they'll wait until the next story patch and then they'll come back. So, there's actually a not insignificant portion of the player base that plays the game like that. Then there's the players that, like I said, will continue to play hardcore levels as they always have. That's also the case. But, at the end of the day, eventually, things are going to go back to normal. And I'm going to die. Yeah, there you go. That's what happens. I'm going to die. Because I healed Ketnet. It's going to kill me. But yeah, it's like players are going to go back to their usual playing patterns, and that means less playtime, and that means less queues.
Down part of Endwalker seems like it is either not going down as much or going down slower. So you have a lot of people that are still sticking around, still playing the game, and because of that, the servers are still congested and you're still in queue. So that's pretty much what it is. Anyway, let's go back over here and we're going to look at the article itself. So let's go back down here and I'm just going to zoom all the way in. And I'll move this over here just so you guys can read it along with me. Hello, this is Naoki Yoshida, producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. We apologize for the ongoing congestion that has been occurring since early access and the official launch of Endwalker. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the start of early access, and players are still experiencing substantial congestion when logging into the game. As we have the new content set to release in upcoming patches, I'd like to provide you with several updates on our plans to address these issues. So this is what they're going to be doing to deal with congestion. Additional game time compensation. This is something that I said would probably happen last time that I talked about this. Turns out it is. We are aware that long waiting times log into the game are preventing players from playing, and thus we sincerely apologize. In response to this, we granted 7 days of game time.
And by the way, like I said this in the podcast, for those of you that didn't watch it, I'm going to buy the Cruise Chaser mount in the Mog Station. I haven't bought it yet because I haven't gotten around to it, but I am going to buy the Cruise Chaser mount because I like that mount. I'm not a big fan of the fact that mount went to the store, but seeing Creative Business Unit 3 do so right by their players, I was like, okay, I feel pretty good about buying this mount now. I'm gonna be real. Like, quality expansion, sure there's queue problems, but they're actually handling it in what I would consider to be a very pro-consumer way, and that makes me want to give them more money. What mount? The Cruise Chaser mount. The Raid Boss mount.
Now we will be also granting 14 additional days of game time. So that's 2 entire weeks, 3 weeks total, 21 days of free game time because of the problems that Endwalker has had. Which really, whenever you put it into context, Endwalker came out on like what, the early access started on the 3rd or something like that. So you're getting even more time than the amount of time that Endwalker has even been out. So it's been quite a lot. So you're getting free game time. And let's go back. We're going to read the rest of this. This will apply to all players, including those with multiple accounts who own the full version of the game and have active subscription as of December 21st, which is probably whenever the last game time is over. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go back and look at this at 12 a.m. when the scheduled release is for patch 6.0.1. That's probably a bug patch and just kind of a fix patch, what I would assume. Suspending delivery of package versions and temporary suspension of digital version sales. Players are currently experiencing extremely long wait times due to the dense concentration of play hours far exceed our server capacity, especially during the peak times. So we have decided to temporarily suspend the sale and delivery of the Final Fantasy XIV Starter Edition and Complete Edition. Additionally, although those with an active subscription are prioritized to log in, free trial players are unable to log in outside of late night and early morning hours.
Yep.
So we will temporarily suspend new registrations for the free trial. So that's insane. Like, that there's that many people and they have to do it. I think this is it's a good solution to have it to where you can log in, but only on certain hours. And I think this is really kind of fair. Because they're not paying any fucking money.
Yeah.
And their responsibility is to people that are paying them the fucking money. Right? So it makes sense for them to do this.
You have to prioritize your paying customers. It's that simple.
I feel like we haven't really had a situation where it's been this bad with another game before. I think New World was this bad, but there were really only a few servers that were these like massive shitholes. And then everywhere else was pretty much fine. You wait in queue for a half hour or something, and then it goes away. So yeah, the fall off happened with New World really fast. So we didn't really have this happen. So Diablo 3 launch? Diablo 3 launch was not that bad. Like, it was bad for like a week.
Excuse me! Error 37 was not that bad. That's not that bad. Diablo 3 launch was not that bad. Yeah, about that.
And then after that, it wasn't the...
Like, here's the thing. Diablo 3 launch wasn't that bad. At least you're able to play Final Fantasy XIV. You're actually just straight up not able to play Diablo 3. You just couldn't play it. Error 37. Like, forget about it. You just couldn't play the game.
Servers that were bad, it was the game that was bad. The game was fucking bad. The game, like the rubber banding, the desyncing, the invisible mobs, the getting hit through a wall.
Yeah.
All of these, they're like accidentally just like DCing at random points in the game. Like the auction house being broken. Yeah, all this stuff. So there were a lot of problems with Diablo 3. However, those were not problems with the servers of Diablo 3, except for maybe the disconnect.
You just said rubber banding. If it's not the servers, what the fuck is it? Auction house being busted. If it's not the servers, what the fuck is it? What? What? We have a very different definition.
Connecting, there were problems with the game coding. which is a little bit different. Everything you listed are server issues, though.
Yes.
No. Like,
Most
for
of the
example,
things are,
like
yes.
The Act 2 mobs, the wasps that would shoot the little stingers at you, and then the stingers would disappear.
Yeah.
That's coding. That's coding. That's coding.
That's server overload. That's server overload. If it was if you were playing it offline, if you could play it offline, it would never happen.
Man, it doesn't matter what server the game runs on, it would do it anyway.
Like, listen, let me tell you something. In Diablo 2, I made the entire town disappear by lagging the fuck out of the servers. Okay? I'm not talking about, these little stingers they're shooting at you. No, I made a whole fucking town disappear with lag. Okay? Because there was a necromancer spell that would lag the shit out of the game. I made the whole fucking town disappear. That's a server problem.
One-shotted by wasps. Usually it's two-shotted, because you're like, wait, what took my health? And then you get hit by a second one, you're dead. These temporary suspensions we plan to phase in over the next couple of days as we work with our retail partners. We will be coordinating with them as swiftly as possible, but please bear in mind that this will be a gradual process. We will also be suspending all new advertisements. However, it will not be possible to suspend some of the advertisements due to the nature, just contracts basically. We appreciate your patience and understanding regarding this matter. Expansion packs and collector's edition digital upgrades will continue to be available for existing players. That's what makes sense to all those who have been invited by their friends and family who are considering joining, as well as our retail partners. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. We ask your understanding and cooperation in order to reduce congestion. We will continue to monitor the situation as we consider timing around returning sales. In regards to Error 2002 that occurs during login queues outside of the causes related to unstable connections, we have confirmed a bug. Bug's login-related problem created back in Final Fantasy 1.0.
This was all the way back in 1.0.
Thanks to the reports and tests carried out by many of our players, we were able to identify the cause of the problem. So that's pretty much solved. Yeah, that's good. And so that bug is just not going to happen. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's see here. Although the code is fixing this bug, the code for fixing this bug is already prepared. Applying the fix will require patching the game client. Yeah, this is the fix. That's what I was assuming. On Tuesday, December 21st. That's in 5 days. We apologize for any inconvenience and ask for your patience a bit longer. Upcoming patch cycle. Pandemonium comes out on January 4th. We understand that there are concerns about World First races and first week progression, but patch 6.05 will add a number of new elements, such as the addition of the Allegan Tombstone, a new treasure hunt dungeon, and the Excitotron 6000. That's interesting. I wonder what that is.
He hasn't done any treasure hunting,
though, but that's okay. Let's see here. Many players are looking forward to content outside of high-end duties, and furthermore, considering the balance of the reward.
They didn't delay Pandemonium. They did not delay Pandemonium, Silver Nitro.
Rewards from item levels from said content, we cannot withhold only Pandemonium, and rebalancing these would delay the patch and beyond.
And they're not delaying the Savage patch either.
Major congestion, but as we mentioned earlier, unless there are major issues, we plan to release the patch as scheduled. Yeah, that's fine. It's just kind of what makes sense. It's the name of the treasure dungeon. Oh, that's the treasure dungeon. Okay.
Yes, the Excitotron.
All right, good.
Whatever.
Updates regarding the addition of new logical data center and worlds. And since July 2021, in order to accommodate a significant increase in the new number of players, that's whenever I started playing. Holy shit. Yeah, because I started in, I think it was like a July 3rd, because somebody told me that.
Do we have to go over this self-aware thing again, Asmongold? We've went through this once already. You guys remember in that stream where I was like, he's become self-aware. Yes, dude, you playing Final Fantasy XIV had a massive impact in the player base. Yes, this is the truth. Does not mean the game was not successful before. It became more successful afterwards.
God damn. I've been working towards building a new logical data center And adding new worlds. However, due to the effects of COVID-19 pandemic, we have not been able to make
Asmongold,
any of the
job
additions
creator.
due to suspension of semiconductor production at manufacturing factories, decrease in production qualities, as well as shortage of raw materials. Although we are investing much more money than usual, our attempts to alleviate the ongoing congestion situation are being delayed due to the physical shortage of server equipment. So we're starting to see some progress in line with this. The server and infrastructure teams are working out together to plan for new additions, and we hope to be able to provide some sort of roadmap by the end of January. We're considering adding servers to each region, and especially plans for large scale in addition to North America and Europe. Well, how about that? And we'll be looking at a number of servers, infrastructure, construction time, power issues, server rack situation, if we should do this sequentially or in one big push. Okay, so they're probably going to make more servers in general. Inquiries about errors triggered by specific payments. Since the release of Endwalker, we have released a large number of inquiries from players who have been able to play the game due to errors which occurred during payment or code registration.
You guys know it's going to be one of the problems with new servers. I actually don't know how it works in terms of like housing and stuff. But like if they come up with new servers, there's going to be a massive exodus of people that just want to get a house. So they're going to jump into a new server just to see if they can get in there and buy a house.
Okay, that's just kind of like whatever. Okay, here we go. As a reminder, we ask you to refrain from using such suspicious services for your own good, and we will continue to strive to provide our utmost support so that everyone around the world can play comfortably. We sincerely apologize for the inconveniences caused by the ongoing server congestion. We appreciate your understanding and cooperation. Yeah, so, yeah, people are buying dodgy keys. Yeah, that's pretty much, and the codes get blocked. It's just like, yeah, buy the actual key from the website. Don't buy it from some random website that has...
Don't buy it from fucking G2A is the point.
Letters on it from 5 different languages at the top of it. And it's just, for some reason, half as much money. Like, come on. So, anyway, working IT, no, chip shortage is a real thing. Well, it's affecting the auto industry a lot, too. It's harder to get new cars. So, like, this isn't something...
Yeah, Trevin, I just saw your comment where you're like, the server equipment has very little shortage. You understand that, like, a Final Fantasy XIV server is not like your standard server that you can just go up to a retail store and be like, yeah, I need a Windows 2000 server, some bullshit. Well, not 2000. What is even like the servers that they're doing now? It's probably just Windows Server Edition, whatever, or a Linux server, or whatever. It's not standard stuff. Like, it has specific custom hardware on there.
That's like exclusively affecting Final Fantasy XIV, because like, yeah, I think people...
By retail, I didn't mean like fucking Walmart or our Portuguese equivalent like Vorten. I'm talking about like, your... The ones that supply companies directly, the ones that I'm talking about. You can't just like get a Final Fantasy XIV server out of those. Still, yeah, OEMs, whatever. You can't just like get a server that has the specs for a Final Fantasy XIV server out of an OEM builder. Yeah, Dell. You can't just like, oh yeah, let me call up Dell, be like, hey, we need a server blade for Final Fantasy XIV. Just get that done real quick. No, it doesn't work like that.
Would have like some degree of credibility whenever they say, well, how is it only Final Fantasy XIV that has this chip problem, but like GPUs are a problem, printers are a problem, medical industry, it's a problem, the car industry, it's a problem. Apparently there's cars that are just sitting on the lot, brand new.
So let me ask you, Tredian, is like, listen, so you think that Final Fantasy XIV wants to be losing millions and millions of dollars rather than buy a fucking OEM server? They're saving like, what, $10,000 on an OEM server in order to lose millions and millions of dollars because people can't play their fucking game. They're literally stopping to sell the game, and you're trying to tell me that nobody at Square Enix just get it from an OEM provider. Just call up HP. Just get it done. No, that's not how it works. I think that Brian made an estimation on how much these 21 days are costing them, and it's about $45 million. No, that's not how that works. They would not be losing millions and millions of dollars and canceling marketing campaigns and stopping to sell one of their most successful launches ever. They literally stopped selling the game. They wouldn't be doing that if they could spend $100,000 or however much it takes for a couple of fucking server blades. That's not how it works. The math makes no fucking sense. Why would they stop trials, stop selling the game, stop all of this if they could just like throw a little bit of money at it and buy a server blade? Then why do they have more servers in Japan than Europe? Because they always had. They've always had those. Europe didn't even have a data center. Didn't you know? When 14 launched, Europe didn't have a data center. They used profits from the MOG station to build EU's data center. Here's the thing. If it was Square Enix, I'd believe you. But it's not Square Enix. It's Creative Business Unit 3. And they're not idiots like the rest of the company.
Sitting on the lot, and they can't sell them because they can't get the chip for the car. So this is a problem. PS5.
And by the way, this is happening in Portugal as well. The cars sitting in abandoned, like they're literally putting electronics into some cars that are produced in Portugal. Like we have this thing called Auto Europa, which is where it's a major car production facility for Volkswagen, and it's like they are literally putting the electronic parts into the cars, driving them to an air base somewhere, and then they remove the electronics and take the electronics back to the factory, and they're just parking these fucking dead cars out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And, you know, we can't sell those cars because there's no electronics. There's no parts. We can't even sell cars right now because we don't have the electronics for these brand new cars. Like the stuff that Asmongold's talking about is happening right here in Portugal. We have this. It's actually really close to me. This Auto Europa. It's really close to where I live, and it's like the father of a friend of mine. He works there, and he's been telling him. They're like, we're literally just driving this shit onto this fucking airfield and we're dropping these cars there. They're there like getting, you know, exposed to the elements, rain, sun, getting completely worn down by the elements because they can't fucking sell them because they don't have the electronic parts. That's how bad it is.
So, because like, you know, PS4 didn't have the artificial scarcity. Like the Wii, they had terrible fucking supply chain with the Wii for like 2 years. But I don't think that's what Sony was trying to do. And overall, this has been an issue for a lot of different places. And Final Fantasy is just one of them. I think one of the big reasons why you don't see this problem occurring as much with World of Warcraft or with New World, I think the reason...
It's because nobody's playing fucking World of Warcraft! That's why. It's because nobody's playing the fucking game. Nobody gives a shit. As a matter of fact, hey Blizzard, can we have your servers? I'm sure. Actually, it probably wouldn't work. Using World of Warcraft server blades would actually probably just destroy the fucking game. Amazon's got too many servers too. Like, guys, remember when we were watching like the New World servers? Like, look, watch this. New World. What was the site? It was New World Status. I think they're not giving them the API anymore, so it wasn't showing the population. Oh no, it's actually showing. Look at me. You guys got 79,000 players. That's nothing. Give us your servers. You're clearly not using them. You're clearly not using them. Just give them to us. We'll make use of them.
The reason why it doesn't happen as much with WoW is that the WoW developers are probably much more used to this issue because they've had really big booms in population before.
Yeah,
so they have servers that are built for this kind of a thing. But I think that, like, for example,
reason this doesn't happen in World of Warcraft right now is because the developers are used to it. Yeah, they're used to it. They developed the game real good. Has nothing to do with the fact that nobody's playing the fucking game.
If the WoW population just overnight doubled because I don't know, like a bunch of like really famous people start playing WoW and talking about it all the time, a bunch of people start playing WoW again, I think that you would see the similar problems occurring in World of Warcraft as well. And I think also with New World, you guys remember back like the first week of the game, it was pretty much unplayable for some people on certain servers because of how long the queues were. Now, you would get into the game, you'd be able to play the game, it'd be fine. But before then, you'd have to sit in the queue for a really, really long time. But
actually, no, and this is like you guys are gonna call me out and say that I'm being biased or whatever. But it's like with Final Fantasy XIV, with this launch, when I get into the game, I don't experience latency. I had those crashes that I had because there's something about AMD GPUs that Final Fantasy XIV doesn't like. But I've applied the Vulkan patch, whatever. It's like a couple of files that you put on there, and it basically like switches your render from DirectX to Vulkan. And since I've started using Vulkan, the game hasn't crashed once. So besides those, I've never seen lag of any kind. In this launch specifically, like I've seen lag previously, but like since this launch during these massive queues, I haven't seen lag. I haven't seen desync issues. I haven't seen anything. Oh wow, this dude was like in a real rush to get himself killed. And this dude already got himself killed. Oh man. Hey, are you AFK right now? Are you AFK, Hollowed? What are you doing, dude? There's people dying on your watch, man. Come on. You're the white mage. I'm the one who gets the slack, not you. But anyway, yeah, I haven't seen lag. And in World of Warcraft, during expansion launches, so like when BFA launched, when Shadowlands launched, massive lag. Lots of times, massive item lag. Item lag in particular, where I would straight up not be able to touch my inventory for like 20 minutes at a time. Several times over throughout those launches. Did it have massive queues? No. But guess what? The servers had plenty of fucking problems. Maybe that was a Europe thing. I don't know. I've had massive item lag. I've had rubber banding. I've experienced all of those things in World of Warcraft's massive launches. And in Endwalker, there's the massive queues, but when I'm in, no lag, no DCs. I've had the crashes, like I said, because for some reason 14 does not like AMD GPUs. But other than that, flawless experience.
But of course, New World didn't have that problem ongoing because the game kind of fell off in a lot of ways due to content, but also because those problems were isolated to just a small group of servers. There were not a lot of servers that had this problem. It was just a small handful of servers that had the problem. And then also New World alleviated that by offering free server transfers off of those servers, which solved the problem even more. New World had more hype and didn't have it like this. I think New World, well, yeah. And
New World had more hype than Endwalker? Well, the curious thing is we can actually fact check that. That's the good thing. If I can type. We need to look at, I don't remember when New World launched, but probably, let's go like this. Wait, why is it? If I do this, will it be better? These are some weird fucking peaks, dude. Oh, wait, I'm searching for Portugal. Let's go worldwide. There we go. That's painting a better picture. I still think Endwalker is a better search term. It's pretty much the same. Okay. And now we compare that to New World game. New World Online game. Oh, shit! Okay. All right. Hey. Holy shit. All right. I stand corrected. I fucking stand corrected. Holy shit. Oh my God. Woo. Damn, son. Are you winning, son? No, Dad. It fucking sucks. All that hype and nothing.
First day or so, first few days with New World, where it did have all this hype, the game was also unplayable in a lot of ways.
The peak must have been
The difference
release
is
date.
the fact that whenever
I would
New
imagine
World had all
Krakatoon.
these problems and everything, it wasn't, it didn't last because, yeah, and also like Amazon Web Services, true. Like, Amazon is just so much of a bigger company than Square Enix is.
Yeah.
Like, they have the biggest, their own company has the biggest web servers
AWS.
in the whole world, basically, besides maybe like them and Google. Like, it's massive. Not that much bigger. Well, I think Amazon is, I would assume Amazon is much larger than Square Enix in terms of.
Not that much bigger? What kind of an what? Amazon is not that much bigger than Square Enix? Excuse me. Guys, am I high on crack that somebody actually said that? Am I high on crack here? Please. What?
A company. Yeah, Blizzard servers are on Amazon. Yeah, exactly. Amazon is like 1/3 of the internet. And it's not even close. Yeah, I would assume that it's not even close as well. I think Amazon would probably be
some really wise guy over there.
10 times bigger than Square Enix, at least.
Easily.
Amazon is, I mean, Jeff Bezos is the richest guy in the world. Like, I mean, that's because the company's really fucking big. Okay. More like 100x? Yeah, that could be it. I really don't know, because I don't know how many other subsidiaries Square Enix has. But we're getting off on a tangent. Elon is? Yeah, it depends, like, what day of the week. I hear a different thing for that every day. Amazon literally killed the internet a few days ago whenever Amazon services went down.
Yep.
Did you see Texas is building a few semiconductor plants to combat the issue? America is about to become the leading retailer of chips, semiconductors.
Yeah, right.
If China and Taiwan get control of semiconductor and chip manufacturing, the rest of the world is fucked. Well,
Good luck with that.
I think it's important to have manufacturing and things like that here, but I don't want to have it here if it's just... if it's like the, you know, oh, we're going to bring back the coal mines or something like that. But of course, like, you know, like forward-thinking innovation and manufacturing, of course that's good. Yeah, 100%. So anyway, people don't understand, all the mining company
Who
were shut down
provides
during
Final
COVID.
Fantasy
and
XIV
I'm sure
servers?
also,
Square
like,
Enix.
a lot of the, like, Bitcoin and things like that, like, and this has been ongoing for years now, but it's still an issue. You guys remember back whenever, like, crypto first kind of got a boom? And this was like a few years ago, like I'm talking like 5 or 6 years ago, whenever people really started talking about it a lot, and the prices for graphics cards just shot up. Like, yeah,
And
it was
they
like
never came back down.
2017. Because I remember I was trying to buy a 1080.
Like, listen, back in the day, a really good GPU would set you back about 400 euros. And we're talking like a really good one. Not the best, but a really good one. Nowadays, a really good GPU is minimum 1K plus. Minimum. Minimum, dude.
80 Ti or something like that, and I went to buy it, and it was like $1,000, and then I couldn't find it for like, I didn't buy it for like 6 months or a year. I come back, and people were trying to sell it for $2,000. It was massive, man. Went from 400 to 2,000. Yeah, it was insane. Net worth Amazon, Square Enix. Amazon is 200 times bigger than Square Enix. Yeah, so it would make sense that Amazon would just have more resources than Square Enix, and that's just what happens. It's the same thing with a game like Valheim, for example. Like if Valheim was developed by EA Games, well, for one, you'd have a battle pass, but two, it'd be the Valhalla battle pass. So you have to use that and pay $20 or your ship breaks and you can't get your stuff back. But either way, what I'm saying is like the amount of content that Valheim produces and the rate at which it produces content would be completely unacceptable for EA. Absolutely unacceptable. But because Valheim is made by such a small studio, everybody's okay with it because they know it's like, well, you can't make content that fast if you only have less than a dozen employees. So I think that this is kind of a larger scale of that, where obviously like Blizzard and Amazon, Activision Blizzard and Amazon are very large companies, especially Amazon, so they just have so much more resources. And I think also, like, to be completely honest, I think that the amount of people that started playing Final Fantasy in July this year completely caught them with their pants down. That's my opinion. I think they did not expect to see this many people coming and playing the game. I think they totally got caught off.
And it's like, how are they supposed to expect that? There's no way for you to predict that your competition is going to fuck up so monumentally that, you're just going to have a flood of people coming in. Because, I mean, essentially what happened was just a large percentage of the World of Warcraft population just like suddenly jumped into Final Fantasy XIV. It's just like out of nowhere. You can't predict that. Like, they have their analytics and they're like, okay, we're seeing this amount of player growth every month, so here's what we predict, here's what we expect. And then suddenly Asmongold tries it out and a bunch of people just like, boom. Okay, so our predictions just got increased 100-fold overnight. And you're like, wait, what? There's no way to deal with that. There's no way to deal with that.
Guard by this, and because of that, it's caused a lot of problems for the game and development. So I think that's what happened. It's not just me. The thing is, like, there were a lot of other people that were playing the game. You look like Annie Fuchsia, Bellular, Josh Strife-Hayes were talking about it a lot then. There were a lot of people.
I don't think Josh Strife-Hayes did.
Well, Zeppela had always been playing Final Fantasy. I'm talking about people that came into the game. Summit, yeah, that's another one. Preach. For sure. Rich, yeah, Co-Carnage, there you go. VTubers, exactly. So, I was one of the first people. S-Fan tried it out. So you had a lot of people that just all kind of like at once go into your...
And this is unpredictable. Like, you can't, as a producer, be expecting all of a sudden... It's almost like a coordinated effort from content creators to bring people into the game.
And a lot of times, like... you can't expect something like that to happen. It's a really good thing. Yeah, Quinn started playing it too. And you can't expect something like that to happen and predict for it and really be able to control for something like that. So anyway, that's the point, is that there were just so many people on like the exodus, like from WoW over to Final Fantasy XIV, that it would make a lot of sense for this to happen. And I don't think that it's entirely their fault to not be able to predict that, because it's just really at the whim of a handful of losers that are sitting in front of their computer to direct a lot of the traffic. Because obviously it works. That's why companies pay streamers a bunch of money. Is it because of me? No, of course it's not. It's because of a lot of people, and it's because the game's good.
The big one was definitely Asmongold. Don't tell me it wasn't Asmongold. Like, the really big boom to it was definitely Asmongold. That's why it's in July. Like, Bellular was talking about it. I was making videos about Bellular, checking it out for a while as well. But Asmongold was definitely the biggest one. But regardless of whether he acknowledges that or not, it doesn't matter. Point of the fact is, they would not be able to predict this. This was completely out of their hands. And anybody who thinks otherwise is like, how? How can you predict that all of a sudden there's going to be, let's just say 100,000, a conservative estimate, right? How can you predict that suddenly there's going to be an additional 100,000 players trying to play your game? You can't. There's no way to do it. It's just that simple. They can't like make decisions based on whether content creator X or Y is going to be playing their game.